all trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with him.
It's your birthday, and we want you to have fun. It's your birthday, so let's party. It's birthday time.
I enjoy a man of few words.
How's it going out there, YouTubers and all social media lands? Welcome to an all-new review. So in this movie review, we'll be talking about a new movie that just came out the beginning of this year onto VOD. Was originally supposed to be released end of last year, but ended up getting pushed up because of the pandemic. But it's a really solid horror film that I was blown away with how good it was, how amazing it was, and just how much fun it was. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on this video and the other awesome videos I put up. As always, people, make sure you hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when new videos pop up. And as always, people, if you enjoy my social media platforms, or if you enjoy my content, definitely check out my other social media platforms, such as Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So definitely check those out too, people. And as always, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all-new movie review. So like I was saying before, we're going to be talking about a film that just came out this past February on VOD, and it's a great horror film that I just was blown away with how amazing it was. And that, of course, happens to be the film called Willy's Wonderland. Oh yeah, Willy's Wonderland. Ooh. So Willy's Wonderland is an amazing and awesome horror comedy action flick that just hands down is amazing, fun, and just really well done. Now, this was written really well. This was also directed very well, and all around just had a really good and awesome vibe to the film, and just was that kind of like silly kind of B-horror type of action comedy type of film that just was so well created. Now, this film happens to be directed by a gentleman that goes by the name of Kevin Lewis. Oh yeah, Kevin Lewis. Yeah, so Kevin Lewis has directed a few other things over the years. He's directed a lot of direct-to-DVD type of films, and hasn't really done anything like big blockbuster-like, but, you know, ended up doing this Willy Wonderland film and actually being a pretty good smash hit, which hopefully he'll be directing the sequel that they're talking about and hopefully making. Now, a couple films that I am aware of that Mr. Kevin Lewis has directed, I haven't had a chance to check them out, but I have heard of them, I have seen the trailers, and I've read a little bit about them. The first one happens to be a film that came out in 2007 and is a supernatural kind of thriller film, and it's called The Drop. The Drop, yeah. So basically the film is stars Sean Young. It looks like a really like hilarious like direct-to-DVD type of like supernatural thriller action flick. It looks interesting. It looks like it was decently done. It looks like that Kevin did a good job of directing it and giving a interesting take on a supernatural type of flick. Now, the second film he directed that I've heard of, I've seen the trailer for, is a comedy kind of like, you know, teenage rom-com slash action, not action, but comedy film that came out also in the early 2000s called Malibu Spring Break. Oh yeah, Malibu Spring Break. Now, from what I read, a lot of people hated this film. They thought it was horrible. They thought it was bad, but after watching the trailer, I can see why a lot of people hated it, but at the same time, I could see that it was a good, one of those dumb direct-to-DVD type of comedy films, you know, with, you know, your gratuitous nudity, raunchy content, and stuff like that, and it just looked like it was pretty, like, bad, but at the same time, it looks like it's gonna be fun to watch, and it looks like it was a pretty decently well-directed film by Kevin, and that he put some pretty good, funny elements into the film. So definitely something I'll probably end up watching down the road. But those are the two films that I know about that he's directed. Like I said, I haven't seen anything else he's directed, but I feel with Willy's Wonderland, he did a good job of directing it. I really thought he took it in a great direction. I loved the elements he used. I liked the B-movie type horror type of idea he was trying to convey across with this while kind of conveying the same to the video game that it's inspired by. And I just thought that Kevin did a good job of giving us this really awesome B-horror comedy film that just was really good and really well-rounded. Kevin Lewis is a pretty damn good director. I'm looking forward to seeing more from him in the future. So this movie has a pretty awesome cast. Now, a few of these people I've seen in other things. Most of them I haven't seen in anything. They're all pretty much newbies. They really haven't done much. But a pretty decent cast. Now, to start us off with this cast is none other than the kind of the main female heroine herself. And that, of course, is Emily Tostada. Yes, Tostada. Emily Tostada. Now, you might recognize her from the Party of Five reboot that they did last year. And pretty much that's pretty much the only other thing she's been in. She's done a few other films. One of them, is a movie that's going to be coming out. The other one is something I had never heard of until I researched it. And then a few of the other things she's been in have been TV series related, along with the Party of Five as well. Now, the first start us up about something that she's been in that I'm aware of, but I haven't watched it yet, is a FX TV series that is a shoot-off of the show Sons of Anarchy. And that, of course, is a show called Mayans. Oh, yeah. Mayans. Oh, yeah. So Mayans is a spin-off of the show Sons of Anarchy, and she actually plays one of the main characters of the film. Like I said, I have not seen the show, but from my understanding, she does a really amazing job in the show, and she's a really good main character. And that she's shown a lot of great potential for, and reasons why she's starting to shoot off into other things, and that she's a pretty decent actress, and that she provides a great value to her character and gives us a really great performance in the show. Definitely have to check out Mayans eventually to see what it's all about. I never ended up watching Sons of Anarchy, but definitely I'll have to check out both of those to see how they coincide and see Emily's other acting bravado. Now, the second thing she's been in that I looked up and researched is a film that she did a couple years ago called Selfie Dad. Oh yeah, Selfie Dad. And basically it's kind of like a, coming-of-age, teenage, comedy, drama type of film. I watched the trailer. It looks like it's a pretty fun film. It looks like Emily did a pretty decent job in it. Gave a pretty decent role, gave some, different acting chops than she showed in Willy's Wonderland, and that she could be a little bit more comedic and a little bit more of a, a teen versus the character she plays in Willy's Wonderland. So it definitely looks like it might be an interesting film to eventually check out in the long run and see what it's all about, and also see about Emily's other acting skills. But at the same time, like I said, in the film Willy's Wonderland itself, I thought she did a decent job. I didn't care a lot for her, but I thought she did a pretty decent job of playing the character she's playing. I thought that she did a good job of, working opposite of Nick Cage and working opposite of Beth Grant and just everyone that was involved in the film. And I thought she did a pretty decent job of giving us that type of angsty teen kind of character that's trying to do the good for the, the community and trying to solve this problem that they have encountered. All in all, I thought she did a decent job. She wasn't my favorite part of the film, but definitely she wasn't too bad. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from Emily in the future. So that brings me to the second person I'm going to be talking about that was in this film. And that is none other than the sheriff herself in the film, Miss Beth Grant. Oh yeah, Beth Grant, woo, Beth Grant. Now, Beth Grant is a character actress that's been around for years. She's been in a ton of films over the years. She always plays little bit parts and so forth like that, and is usually always awesome. Always usually plays kind of like this cynical type of character, and is usually kind of evil a little bit, but there's really kind of a nice nature side to her that I've seen in different types of films. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed her in as such. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is from a 1995 action flick that her role is not super huge in it, but still a pretty substantial role. That, of course, is a film called Speed. Oh, yeah, Speed. Yeah, Speed, such a great action flick. But Beth Grant plays one of the characters on the bus in the film that actually ends up getting killed. And she actually is kind of annoying in the film, but at the same time, you kind of feel sympathy for her a little bit. But her voice kind of gets on your nerves a little bit because of just the high-pitchedness of it. But she still was pretty decent in the film, and I liked her. And I thought that she did a good job of bringing the character to life, giving us a, what a woman might experience if they were in this situation. And I thought she did a pretty decent job, and she was very enjoyable in the film. If you haven't seen Speed, definitely check it out for Beth Grant's performance. She was really superb and just a well-rounded action flick. Now, the second film she was in that I really enjoyed is a great comedy film that came out in 1994 and is a sequel to a 1991 film. And that, of course, is a film called City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I absolutely love this film. This is one of the best comedy films of all time. Billy Crystal, John Lovitz, Jack Palance, Daniel Stern. Such an amazing cast. And Beth Grant actually plays an assistant character to Billy Crystal's character at the radio station he works for. And she actually, like, has it's not a super huge role, but still, the role that she has in the few minutes she has is super hilarious. And I just love the presentation and the job she gives to the character, and just the kind of the presentation and the acting ability she gives to this role. For what little role it was, it still was on point, perfect for the film. And she's so stinking hilarious in just how she presents it, and how she, like, talked and says the line, and I just thought she did a really good job. If you haven't seen City Slickers 2 yet, definitely check it out, people. It's such a great film, and Beth Grant was awesome in it. Now, it comes to her role in Willy's Wonderland. I enjoyed it. I liked her as the sheriff. I thought she did a good job. I liked the kind of characterization she brought to it. I liked that she was trying to be kind of like, trying to keep this under wraps, even though they were sacrificing people, basically, to these, creatures, basically. And, like, just, like, the character she brought was, like, exactly a Beth Grant character. And she just was a really great joy in the film, and I just really enjoyed her in a whole, along with the rest of the actors and actresses in the film. I thought she just was really fun. If you haven't seen Beth Grant or anything, or if you haven't seen Willy's Wonderland, definitely check it out for Beth Grant's performance. She was really superb in it. So that brings me to the final actor I'm going to talk about that was in this film, and that is the mainstay himself, the awesome guy, the hero of the film, Mr. Nicolas Cage! Oh yeah! Nicolas Cage! Woo! Nicolas Cage! Woo! Oh my god, Nicolas Cage, I love this man in anything he's ever in. I absolutely always think he's an amazing actor. I love that he over-exaggerates everything. I love just how he acts. I love just everything pretty much he's ever been in. He's always so superb and awesome. Now, a couple of movies I really have enjoyed him in and thought that, he's shown his great acting skills in these such films. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is a great film that came out in the early 2000s that's directed by John Turteltaub and was brought out by Disney. And that, of course, is a film called National Treasure. Oh, yeah. National Treasure. Ooh, oh my god, this is such a great film. The sequel is just as amazing. This is just a really cool, like, kind of modern-day Indiana Jones type of deal. And Nick did an amazing job of this performance of this character. Absolutely love him as this character. I thought he brought a really great essence to the character. I love his wit, his comedy timing in the film, and I just love the characterization he brought to the character, being so kind of like nerdy, at the same time really badass, and that he can get dirty when he needs to get dirty, and all the knowledge that he's supposed to know as a character, you really felt like he knew all that knowledge, and he did such a great job with this film. If you haven't seen The National Treasures, definitely give it a roll, people. They're worth the watch. So that brings me to the second film that Nick Cage was in that I really enjoyed him in. Now, this is a great war film that came out in the early 2000s that was just a really amazing war film that I don't think gets enough credit for how great of a film it was. And also, it's a great subject, too, for a part of the war that they really don't talk a lot about. And that, of course, is a film called Wind Talkers. Oh, yeah. Wind Talkers. Yeah. So Wind Talkers, if you're not familiar with it, is basically was these group of Native Americans that were a part of World War II that had their own language that they used to communicate things so that the enemy didn't get. And Nick Cage plays this officer that has to take basically this wind talker, protect him, and get him to where he needs to do to translate and do what he needs to do. And that's pretty much what the war film is about. It's so well done. It was like so epic, everything about it. And Nick Cage was so amazing as this character. And he really brought a great essence to who this officer was, and just gave it all new life and a new meaning to what this, officer guy did for, the people of the United States. And just, he brought such a greatness to the character, and just a really great empathy, and just a realness to the character, and I thought he just should have gotten a lot more recognition for how great of a role this was. He just was really great in the film. And the film itself is just really amazing, too. If you haven't seen Wind Talkers, definitely give it a roll, people. It's a great film, worth the watch. A really amazing war film that's, like, up there with, like, Gettysburg and Gods and Generals. Braveheart type of deal, Saving Private Ryan. That's how good this film is. Definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch, and it's a great Nick Cage film. Now, it comes to his character in Willy Wonderland. Oh my god, I absolutely was in love with him this whole entire film. Not only does he not say one stinking word throughout this whole film, his expressions in the film were on point amazing. Oh my god, I was literally sitting there in my seat watching the film, and every time he was on screen, I was literally captivated because it just was such an amazing performance. Without any words. Like, he did not literally say one word. He made some sounds, but he literally did not have one sentence that he had to for this script. Hands down, amazing. And every time he took down one of the animatronics was on point, amazing action sequence, you know, killing horror B movie classic, and just his interactions with even people that were talking and he wasn't. You could see that he was communicating with his expressions. That's just how good he was in this film. This has got to be hands down one of my favorite now performances by Nick Cage, besides the few I've talked about and others that I have enjoyed over the years. This goes up there in that top 10. He was so awesome this film. If you have not seen Willy's Wonderland yet, definitely go check it out now. You can get it in Redbox, you can get it on demand, you can go buy it. This movie is worth the buy and watch. It was so amazing. And Nick Cage was so great in it. So what is Willy Wonderland's about? Basically, the premise of the story is that these 8 animatronics at this used-to-be fun center have been possessed by the spirits of serial killers. And basically, the town has made a pact with them to give them drifters so that they will say a piece and not go and kill anybody in the town. And basically, when one of the drifters, who happens to be Nick Cage's character, starts to take them out. And the movie's basically about him trying to take them all out and basically trying to survive. It is, hands down, a great movie. So well done, so fun. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch. Really well done. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this. I can't wait. And hopefully they'll make a sequel. And this was just so amazing. I was really impressed by this horror flick. I was really... it's one of the best horror flicks I've seen in a long time. But if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out now, people. It's worth it. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older or new videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, check out my awesome links down below, especially for my Patreon page, where I put up updates on what's upcoming videos, bloopers, outtakes, and all that kind of cool stuff. And also, if you want to show some support, definitely check that out too, people. It's really awesome of you. And as always, catch you in the next one.